From sports to current events to the culture, we talk, agree, disagree, and agree again. Maybe. Confused? Find your outlet, the podcast.
Once again, it's on another episode of the ATL outlet.
Take two.
Yeah, a little therapy for your soul. Got the fellas back in the building. C, PB, we on the virtual tip. Still under COVID-19 quarantine, but we're going to find some good in it. So let's take off with the episode. What's good, fellas? PB?
What's good?
What's good? Checking in. Plug us in.
You know how to get at us.
C, what's good, man?
Man, what's good? You know, truthfully, man, today, what is it? Monday, April the 20th. Man, I don't know about y'all, but our governor here in the state of Georgia, I don't know if it's good, but everybody been talking for the last 4 hours. He finna slowly open this thing up.
Yeah, y'all the first ones, you and AT, see, the first ones talking about some, man, as soon as they open it up, I'm out there. I got to go. I got to be out there.
Man, I don't need to go to no nail shop. What do I look like going to the nail shop, man?
Restaurants, movie theater, bowling alley's going to be open now.
Hey, man, I said it. I ain't going to lie. I said it. I don't know how committed to it I am right now, but I said it. I definitely said it. It's a little quick on the draw.
Hey,
Quick, bro. I saw Stacey Abrams talking about Georgia was the 14th highest rank in death and 7th lowest in testing.
Hey, man, but look. I heard something when I bagged in the car today. They said,
hold on. Y'all, we talking about what's good. Like, we'll get to that. Give me something good. Let's start off with something good.
What's good, C?
That's what I don't know, man. Other than the fact that I don't know what's good, man. What they say? 6 million people watched the show last night. That's what's good. I told my buddy, I said, it's going to be somewhere between 3 and 5. They said 6.3 million watched at least the first episode.
That's right.
That's what's good.
PB, what you got?
Man, I said in take one, bro. It's just, the ability to maintain, bro. J.O. going straight still. Health-wise is good. Family's doing all right, hanging in there. So just the ability to maintain, man. What else was good was, in addition to that show, that Goody Mob Unsung last night was what was good. I saw AT peeped it and listened to that mob all day today. So that was good. Yeah, man, that's what's good on this end, bro.
Man, how y'all watch both of them at the same time?
DVR, baby.
Nah, I saw the late today. They run them unsungs over and over on a loop.
Oh, okay.
I caught that second or third run.
I might have to peep that one. I wanted to watch it, but I DVR'd The Last Dance. So I was like, I catch Goody Mob later.
Yeah,
it's worth it. It's worth it.
Is it worth it? Man, why they program both of them at the same time?
Hey
man, they moved The Last Dance up though. Remember?
Yeah, that's right.
That's true.
Sure.
All right.
AT, what's good with you, bro?
Man, same here, man. What's good, man, is I'm right now. It's like we're powering through these weeks. I never want to rush time, but I'm finding myself being able to at least stay occupied for the majority of the day, and not just be bored to death. It was great TV night last night, man, with Last Dance, with the Goody Mob. We're still working on this podcast thing, man. We got, shout out to Two Comma Clothing. We got shirts that are popping off, man. We're gonna have these available for listeners, and we're just excited, man, about the growth.
Oh, my shirt too, then.
Yeah, we're jumping in on the YouTube scene, man. So hopefully the thing just keeps growing, and we can go.
Check us out on YouTube at.
You just search ATL outlet, pop right up, get it going. We got our own channel. Like us, do all that good stuff. Comment whatever you need to do. Looking forward to all the feedback from the YouTube channel. So, without further ado, man, we're going to jump right in. Got a good episode here. And we're going to start with The Last Dance, man. It was all about Chicago Bulls. The show it was the first 2 episodes of a 10-part documentary about one of the greatest teams in any sport in history. And I think it just took off. C talked about, 6 million people viewed yesterday. I was there, had my Jordans on, watching it. And at least from the start, it seems to be all it's cracked up to be. So I'm excited, interested to get y'all's thoughts on it.
Well, I was pumped up. It was for the first time in almost a month, maybe 2. It felt like we had something to watch on TV. Outside of binging Netflix. I was pumped up. Everybody was waiting for 9 o'clock. I talked to a buddy of mine. He said, "Man, there was snacks on deck over there in his house." I had my whole house watching it. My wife was watching it. My daughter put on her Jordans. We was trying to represent. I think the thing that stuck out to me was, I grew up watching Jordan, and for him to be retired and kind of been out the game and then, passed on to LeBron and Kobe and all that stuff, I just forgot what he did. Just to see some of those highlights again, him hanging in the air, shooting on the way down, the tongue hanging out, it just brought back lots of memories. But then to hear the behind the scenes, like, "Hey man, tell your man it's gonna be a long night. I see him tomorrow." That kind of stuff. Just hearing him just talk about the mental aspect of the game, that you don't ever want your opponent to know your weakness. They think they got one and all that good stuff. And just hearing the mental dominance that he had. I've always believed as a former athlete that, it is 80% mental, 20% physical. So, but he took it to a whole nother level. Just to hear him talk about that stuff. And, it was cool how they were going back and forth between, the current 97, 98 season, and then taking it all the way back to when he was born and high school and all that cool. It was a good, it makes me appreciate him even more now. And now to hear some of the banter between him and who's the greatest between him and LeBron, and now you kind of get people saying, "Man, he is the GOAT." It was just cool to me. BB, what you got?
Yeah, no, I mean, look, I echo many of those sentiments, man. I think that, again, I grew up a diehard Jordan fan, man. Diehard Jordan fan. And to this day, I'm a diehard. I hated that time of my life even had to to change. Like, if you could have just kept Jordan at the top of his game for forever, that would have been, great for me. But, a couple of things I guess stood out for me. One was just this concept of, if you go back to, I guess it was his sophomore and junior year, how he, they knew he was special, but didn't know that he was as good as he ended up being. The growth that he had to see between like his junior and senior year, and then those 3 years in college, right, to really become this beyond average, this out of the bounds type player. Yet when you think about today and all these kids and trainers and stuff at 5, 6, 7, 10 years old, and you trying to pick out who's going to be the next Jordan, it's like there are probably some 18, 19, 20-year-olds that you probably should be looking at, because they still have that ability. They just got to be able to turn it on. And especially they talked about between his freshman year and his junior year, right before he went to the league. And I think Dean Smith or whomever was talking about how quickly he was able to absorb information. It's like as soon as he learned it, there was no turning back.
Right.
That really stood out for me. And then I think just always this concept of the greatest have to have a killer instinct. Like, they talk about how he would talk to some of his teammates, and it's always, win at any cost, and even when he got hurt. And at first, he probably always was a little bit bitter with the Bulls organization, because they didn't want to effectively it came across to him as if they appeared as if they didn't want to win each game. And like, you know, I think Ahmad Rashad said it, like, look, he brought his A game every single night. Like, he don't care if you playing pickup, he don't care if you playing 2-on-2, 3-on-3, 5-on-5. Like, he's going to try to win the game. And it's just something, you know, I always try to think about the greatest. And we talk about Tiger, Serena, you know, even you take it outside of sports, like musicians and artists and stuff like that. And I think there's just something that those individuals have, man, where it's just like, you know, there's no mercy, man. It's like no mercy. At the end of the day, it's about winning, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to do that. You can not like me. That's fine. You can hate me. But I'm going to have that trophy behind me at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was dope, man. I can't wait to see the next several ones. The whole Scottie Pippen thing, man. It was an interesting dynamic with Scottie, and Jamil Hill even put out on Twitter today just a dynamic of what she called kind of that four-piece, right, where it was being black, poor, growing up in the South, and then being forced into being the breadwinner at a very young age, and the trauma that may do. And so, you know, for that man to take a contract for as long as he did, and how he talked about it was just the consistency.
7 years, 18 million.
The guarantee of those funds so that he can make sure he can take care of his family, man, was kind of deep. And you're going to look at his stats and, you know, forget who's the GOAT. I want to shift the conversation to who's the best number 2 ever. And right now, I mean, I think you're going to be hard-pressed to find another number 2 like Scottie Pippen, bro.
Well, MJ said it, man. He said, I wouldn't win them championships without him.
Right. AT, what you thought about it?
I mean, I just like how they set it up early with the GOAT. The fact that he injected a certain energy in the city of Chicago during that time. They talked about a little bit about the state of the Bulls before he got there, and that youthful energy that he brought to the table was special. You know, it's funny thing is, I've always respected him as a GOAT, as the best player I've ever seen. Wore the shoes, did all that, but I really wasn't like, I was a fan of the underdog, you know, a lot as I was growing up playing basketball. So, you know, I wanted to see Grant Hill get a championship. You know, I wanted to see Reggie Miller. You know, I still respected Jordan as the greatest, but you know, the older I get, I now go back to, okay, he is the GOAT, and this gave me an opportunity to go back to show him that due respect, you know, that I had growing up. And I think that I'm excited for the younger generations to be able to see the light that shine on Jordan at this point. Because not only do they see the highlights that everybody else sees, but now they get a chance to see the behind the scenes, the mental prep, all of the stuff he had to put up with off the floor in order to be successful. And all that is important, especially the people or players, young players who want to, you know, one day play in the league. It's not just about going out and playing basketball. There's so many other things that are involved. And then, you know, having Scottie be the very next, you know, focal point to me was important, because you're right. There is no Mike without Scottie as far as the championships are concerned. And I think that with Scottie, he took a lot of grief for the contract, but you know, I'm of that opinion that, man, if you come from nothing, man, like that contract meant a lot to him. He was able to take care of his family. He did what he needed to do, you know. So you can blame whoever, but Scottie today is fine. You know what I mean?
Right.
One point I do want to make though, and I have to caution a lot of people. Like, ever since the whole Scottie deal, it's now this big thing where you know, you can go to the NAIA school and be the manager. All you gotta do is just keep working. Let's not forget that these guys grew like 5 or 6 inches when they were in these positions. Like, if you go to an NAIA school and you're 5'10" and you're a manager and you don't grow, you're probably still going to be a 5'10" manager. Like, they were blessed with some growth.
They said that boy went away in the summer. It was 5'10", came back with 6'5", then grew to 6'7" in 2 more years.
You 18 years old, you grow 5 or 6 inches, a whole lot gonna change. Your confidence gonna change for one. You know what I mean? So I'm always careful, and I always laugh at that, because everybody's like, see, all you gotta do is just keep working. You gotta grow too. You gotta do a couple other things, you know.
I didn't even know he was an NAIA manager.
Yeah.
I didn't know his way.
I knew that, and I knew he had a growth spurt. You know, I think about Matt Harper. Like Matt Harper grew 3-4 inches when he got to Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
You know, when he left Marist. Now he became a pro.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, you know, it ain't just wasn't just luck of the draw. He had some physical changes as well.
Absolutely. But the documentary is spot on, man. Like, I'm excited about it. It could have been a better start, you know.
I got a question. So what's your one or two favorite quotes that came out of there that stuck with you for the rest of the night?
Man, absolutely the one where he talked about taking the pill. He was like, well, shit, how bad is the damn headache? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
all day, that one for sure.
Man, my biggest takeaway was when Bobby Knight said, man, that's the best play I ever seen. You know, Bobby Knight said that in 84, you know, before they were drafting him. It was like, man, you need to take this kid.
Bro, add that to when Larry Bird said after he put up 63, he was like, this is God dressed as God.
Yeah, like Michael Jordan. I think mine was they were sitting in Paris and they were sitting there and old boy was excited. I don't know who it was. And he looked there and he said, man, you gonna give me a hug? He said, he looked at him like,
it's not done yet.
Don't even count.
Yeah, don't count.
They're like, man, what is this? And then he got back in the locker room. They said, this trophy going back? He said, man, he'll take it. Give it to Jerry. Yeah, Jerry need it. We don't need that. Give it to Jerry.
That's that mentality, man.
I thought it was also pretty deep, though, how they went back to trying to, you know, peel back the onion on where did he get his competitive drive. And I didn't know, you know, I knew he had siblings, but I didn't know about that dynamic with his brother, you know what I mean, and his dad, him and his dad's relationship. And, you know, as he kind of opened up a little bit more about that, you know, when his daddy told him he was trying to get some, I guess it was tools in the garage or something. And like, he asked for a screwdriver and might bring you some pliers or something like that.
So go back in the house with your mama.
Right. And how that may have played with him mentally, it was like, yo, you know, I got to go and be great at this just to get Dad Pop's attention, you know what I mean?
But as an athlete, though, you have to find what that motivation is for you. You know what I mean? I think when I was playing growing up, there are certain things that I can point at, 4 or 5 things that at every level that motivated me, whether it was, you know, somebody saying I'm not as good as that person, or I don't make that team, or, you know, anything, like my dad saying something. Like, you find, you know, good players find different ways to keep, you know, that motivation. And I think Mike was consistently doing that. And that's, you can see right there, it started early. But I want to go back to what Bobby Knight said, because I don't know if it came out on the documentary, but or maybe it was some information provided afterwards, but somebody continued the conversation and talked that and said that Bobby Knight had a conversation with Portland, and Portland was saying, well, we want to draft Jordan, but we need a center. And Bobby Knight looked at him and said, well, play him at center. like this dude is the real deal. And you can always look back on it and say, man, woulda, coulda, shoulda. But it's just interesting what could have been had he been drafted in a different spot. You know,
just to that point, though, think about it. Like, would you have taken? Who would have taken Mike over Hakeem Olajuwon at that time?
Nobody. And Sam Bowie either. Like, if you seen or heard anything about Sam Bowie at Kentucky, like, he was a monster.
Right.
He just got injured. He got injured, and that kind of messed him up going into the draft. But
and Olajuwon still going down one of the best to ever play.
Oh yeah. Like somebody said, you still couldn't take Mike over Olajuwon just because of the natural gifting that a 7'1" had versus a 6'6". I remember in this documentary they said, well, Portland had somebody like Clyde. They had somebody on the wing already.
Yeah, they did.
You know, somebody who matched Jordan's physical traits. Now, he didn't play like him, we all know, but they had somebody like that. So, you know, I think for me, you know, going further deeper into it, you know, just going even back to North Carolina as a freshman, they Dean Smith, hey, we're gonna try to get to the James, but hey, Mike, if you get it, knock it down. It wasn't like, hey man, you're a freshman, calm down, you know. It was just like, we know you can do this. And even hearing Roy Williams talk about, you know, when he came down, he said the AD from their county high school department called and was like, hey man, we got a kid down who might be able to make it. They said they invited him down to this camp. He said he left out of here. He said he came, he was like 1 or 250. He left out, they played in the country. And we knew it. So we had to get on. Just to hear those kind of backstories about, you know, this lanky kid from Wilmington, North Carolina, who, you know, just decided, hey, one day I'm going to be great. I think one of my favorite stories when he broke his foot, he said, I just convinced him to let me go back home.
Yeah.
I'm down there playing 1-on-1,
Yeah.
2-on-2. And that's the competitor, right? That's what a competitor does. They find a way. Fine, you won't let me get on the court. I get back on the court. And when I got back, my calf, one calf was bigger than the other. What you been doing? I've been playing basketball. Just to hear, I'm gonna find a way, even outside of your constraints, to go back to my craft. When I get back, I'm gonna be bigger and better than before. And that was just amazing to kind of hear those stories.
AT, what you thought about Jerry Krause?
I think Jerry Krause is doing his job. I think you could say that he had an ego, but I think 90% of the GMs in the NBA have an ego. I think they're also like college coaches. Like, I think they look at players, and no one wants to say, if you're responsible for an organization or a job, it's difficult for somebody to look at you and they say, congratulations, but you only won it because of those guys over there, right? So I think that's a natural reaction, is that, hold on, like, I put this team together,
So do you think that comment that he made, he went back and tried to change it, but what do you think about at least as it was reported, basically saying that, players don't win championships, organizations do, and at least in the way it was, the context of how it was originally released, and then how he went back and tried to rephrase it, or at least in his, as he stated, there was context that was left out, words that were actually left out.
Now, I can't speak for him, obviously, but if I were to insert myself in that position and I'm the GM of a team, I think that you want at some level, you want that to be true, right? You want other players to be able to say, I want to play for a winning organization. Like, you talk about teams like the New England Patriots, like, they kind of govern themselves by that. Now, you will say Tom Brady may rise above that, but we see right now, they told Tom Brady he can go too. I just think there's a fine line between allowing players to think that they run the organization and everything is about them, when you're working to make sure that you get those pieces together. Because if Jerry Krause doesn't get Scottie Pippen, if he doesn't get Ron Harper and those guys together, it may be different. That supporting cast is important. We talked about that. So I get the point. I don't think it was expressed appropriately, but I get the point.
I think it's a fine line, right? I think that, as a GM of a team, you are responsible. But just like them GM athletes got egos too.
True.
Right? We can say, well, he was selfish, but that man knows his value, right? And he saw it the first 8 games. He saw his value, So I think it's a fine line. It's just like for me, it's just like any level of leadership. You can be the CEO, right? You can be the organizer. But if you ain't got the folk believing in what you're saying, your company gonna go down the tube quick, right? I mean, you gotta be able to, I think the greatest GMs are the ones who understand that they're responsible, but they don't walk around saying it. Because if you walk around saying it, the patient's gonna find out.
Great point, but let's think about this though. The Pippen issue was more with the owner, Reinsdorf, who once he signed that contract said, "Don't come back and sign another contract. Don't come back and try to renegotiate." Right. So then he got into it with Krause, right? Because Krause was
because Krause had the ability to go and do something different when he recognized that you had Ron Harper, Tony Kukoc, damn near the whole team making more money than your second best player on your team.
And Krause was talking about the possibility of trading him.
Right. He knew, but so he knew his value.
Right.
But he knew his value.
But let's think about it, guys. As a GM, if you see value in trading Scottie Pippen, that's going to make your team better. That's your job, regardless of how the players feel. If you feel that trading Scottie Pippen will make the Bulls better, that's your job. Now,
but if you were going to do it, then you should have done it.
That's what I'm saying. Trade him then. Don't have it dangling like a little carrot, man.
Exactly.
Trade the dude.
Exactly.
We see that all the time, though. We see that all the time. We see that happen.
That don't make it right just because we see it all the time, bro.
Well,
I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm saying it's part of the job. Like there may be a trade on the table that's pulled back for whatever reason. The other team may not agree to it, or they may change their mind at the last minute. By that time, the information is out there. Like, yeah, we tried to trade you.
Well, and okay, the information out there, and so for me, I keep saying, so ultimately, what happened in Scotty's case though was the owner talked Jerry down and said, "No, we're not going to do that." And because it came out in the documentary, Jerry was like, "Hey, look, yeah, we did have it, but we're going to keep him." But the owner made that decision
for 1 year. For that 1 year.
Right, like but then now you got all this discord on your team.
Right.
Now you got Mike. Come on, man, the dude was selfish. You got Steve Kerr. You got all those pieces that now they looking around going, man, what is this? We're traveling road show.
And I don't know if that sat well with me, right? Mike calling him selfish and all this stuff. And it's like, Mike, you getting paid. Like, and this cat done blood, sweat, and tears for all these years. You got Ron Harper making, 3 times, 4 times as much as he is. Like,
now that's one of the tweets I saw. Well, Mike should have went in there and said, "Hey, man, nah, this is my dude.
Right,
I got to hold on to him."
Come on, man. These are grown men now. Like, these not high school or college kids.
What's your point?
That he signed that contract knowing good and well where he stands.
Dude, but the contracts can get renegotiated all the time. And where he was when he first started versus where he was when they started winning championships is 2 different places. Like,
they weren't being renegotiated then. They said it in the documentary. He knew when he signed it. Jerry Reinsdorf told him, when you sign this contract, that's it. And he had already set that standard because Mike didn't do it.
I understand, but Mike also didn't have as long a contract. Like, Scotty's issue was
7 years, $18 million, brother. That's all I'm gonna keep saying.
And we're blaming the Bulls. Who are we blaming for that?
The Bulls.
Why?
I'm talking about. I'm not talking about up front, but he also hadn't proven himself by then, and that's what something that they talked about, right? Like he had proven himself.
Business, sir. That's business, sir. That's business.
Right.
That's business.
I have a hard time with that.
Attitude reflect leadership, man.
I have a hard time with that.
Right.
Man. That man.
If somebody later proves themselves that they are worth more than what you've been paying them, if you want to relax on your laurels and say, "Oh well, sorry that you up here helping us win championship after championship, but because you signed this years ago and now you've proven yourself worthy of more, we're gonna stick it to you." Yeah, nah, I'm sorry.
See, I would say
that doesn't seem like good. It's business. It doesn't seem like good business to me.
New England Patriots been doing it for 20 years.
Well,
in a different situation.
How is it different?
Because they're number 2.
I'm sorry, say what?
Who's their number 2, man?
Oh.
You said who's their number 2?
Who's their number 2?
Yeah,
if they realize what Scottie Pippen's value to Chicago is different than these other dudes that were bringing value. If there's never been a point where the Patriots realized that there was value that they had to have to continue to be successful, and they not maintained it. So now, look, the Patriots had the choice to go and find other players. You couldn't go find another Scottie Pippen, bro.
Why not?
Because there wasn't one.
I was about to say. So I'm gonna back up. So
you don't think
we're going separate sports. I'm gonna say this, and then we can go on. So the NBA now, in its negotiating terms, I do believe is different than it was then in 90. But I believe that Jordan, just like he said in that press conference, I ain't playing for another coach. But like he said, if he'd have walked in there, Jerry Reinsdorf said, "Hey, bro, a man right here, we got to pony up a little bit." If he'd went in there, it'd have been a whole different conversation. I do believe that. Now, I do believe the NBAs are different.
Maybe.
But I do believe that Mike could have went in there and said, "Hey, at least make him number 3 on the team." You know what I'm saying? Now, going into the football analogy, Paul, I'm with you. Like, we finna find out. We gonna find out. They finna do a documentary on the New England Patriots this year. I guarantee you we'll be watching 10 years from now.
That's not what I'm talking about with the Patriots. You asked me about the number 2, Richard Seymour. Richard Seymour got to the point where he was the best D-line in the league. Gone. Randy Moss. Gone. Troy Brown. Gone. Like all these guys who were when they get to
you could find some. Randy Moss was not the Randy Moss that he was years before.
I'm sorry. He set the NFL record in receiving touchdowns for the year.
Okay. Tom, coming from who?
Coming from Tom Brady, of course.
All right.
Of course.
Yeah.
But you're saying that Jerry Krause.
First of all, you're playing with 5 people versus 22.
That's what I say.
Yeah, okay.
Basketball is two different sports.
Right. So to be able, my point was to be able to legitimately equate the value that Scottie Pippen was bringing to that organization versus others is different, bro.
It's not
different.
because
you're not gonna sit there and say that Randy Moss did not bring the same amount of value to the Patriots as what Scottie Pippen brought to the Bulls.
Wow.
He brought a value, but it wasn't the same amount.
Right. Exactly.
I would Paul on this one.
Yeah.
The Patriots the Patriots' value on their number 2 player has never been the same as the Bulls would value Scottie Pippen. You can't even you name Richard Seymour. Yeah, he could go, but they got Vince Wilfork coming right back in. Before Randy Moss, they had Troy Brown. Who knew about Troy Brown? Right? They just plug and play. What's the tight end who just left? The crazy boy. What's his name? Gronk. The one main person that they kept satisfied with Tom Brady. That's what I'm finna say. You finna see right now. They talking about drafting. Who ain't got it? Who the court?
And out there sending fake news talking about Cam Newton going.
Like they don't even you know.
I got him.
You know what I'm saying? No, man.
I just think if you're thinking about it from a GM standpoint, in that basketball sense, I don't look at the value as it relates to the other players on the team. I'm looking at the value that I can get for Scottie Pippen.
My thing is do it. I'm gonna keep do it. If you can get that value, do it. Don't hold on to it.
If I'm Jerry Krause and Scottie was mad and I could trade him for 2 All-Stars to put with Jordan, absolutely. Absolutely. No doubt.
If it makes the Bulls better, no doubt.
You know he gonna die on his sword, bro. Like that's what he think. That's what he think. That's fine.
I can't wait. So I'm gonna push on. I can't wait to see what next Sunday gonna reveal. The next 2 episodes and see, because we kind of got left right there with the last quote. PB, I think Scottie was selfish. They might show it with Scottie coming back at Mike.
No, I don't know if Scottie's gonna do that. I think they starting to each episode gonna have a focal point, right? So I think 2 was Scottie, at least the updated looks. I think the next one is gonna be Dennis. Did y'all see the clip today about Dennis talking about something he needed a vacation?
I
ain't see that. Go look on Twitter, man. They got some sneak peeks.
I'm not looking at any sneak peeks. I want to see it. I want to see it.
I mean, it's only 30 seconds, bro.
AT said he want the real, fresh, uncut,
only 30 seconds, man.
I want the rough and raw.
I'm going to look at it, PB.
I'm told there's supposed to be a focal point. Isaiah Thomas is going to be on one.
I'm going to look at it, PB. I don't care.
I'm excited to see it too, bro.
I am. I'm looking forward to it. I want to see it. So at the end of it, I want to see what picture they paint of Jordan, Pippen, Krause, Phil Jackson. What is going to be the takeaway that we're going to get from this 10-6?
What also got me though, man, just last little piece for me with this one was, what'd you think now, since Ant's the businessman, cutthroat businessman that I know.
I'm not cutthroat.
From the 90s.
What do you think about how Reinsdorf handled the situation with Phil Jackson, saying, this is your last year? Now, you just won 2 titles, 5 in the last 7 years. And now I'm going to say, yeah, you come back, this your last year. We're gonna get rid of you afterward.
I didn't like how that was handled.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm going to go to LA and win some more championships.
I feel like you should go until you get beat. You know what I mean? Period.
Until you can't go no more.
But we're starting to bleed over into football, which brings us to the next topic. Got the NFL draft coming up this week on Thursday.
Yes, sir.
Ever virtual draft. You know, it's funny. The draft was supposed to be in Vegas this year, and they had a unreal setup. I heard an interview with I think it was marketing director, whoever it was for the NFL, and they were going to have like, you know, in front of a casino with waterfalls, and they were talking about bringing people in on boats. Like, it was supposed to be crazy in Vegas. So they're trying to find a way to get Vegas back in the lineup, maybe 2 or 3 years down the line. But anyway, we're going virtual this year. The consensus is that Joe Burrow is going as the #1 pick, probably Chase Young second. But then there's this whole Tua thing. I mean, and it's just been all over. It's about, you know, he could go as high as 3, he can go as low as 6 or 10 or whatever the case may be. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the this year's draft?
I'll tell you, right.
I like 1 and 2.
I hadn't even been keeping up too tough with it because of the virtual aspect. I don't even know how it's gonna work. Like, I mean, I guess they're gonna do what we doing. I saw that the Broncos did a trial today and said they ran into a bunch of hiccups early on, but they were able to work through the kinks, and that they said they're ready to go. But I mean, I don't even know how it's gonna be. And I guess, you know, are the players gonna be at their cribs and kind of again do this virtual thing, which you know, for me probably isn't gonna keep me tuned in too tough on it, to be honest.
That's that Super Bowl, Paul PB.
I'm just saying, man, like, you know, once you get past the first round anyway, I think it falls off, in my opinion, a lot, unless you really invested in someone personal or, you know, you just got a bunch of picks. But what I will say is that, you know, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with Tua, man. You know, I think whoever gets him, it's a gamble. But I think he's worth it, bro. Like, they were replaying that Bama game where he threw the touchdown for the national championship, man. And that kid just got skills, man. And if the docs uncleared him, I think you got to, you know, if I was the GM, I'd take a gamble on him, man. But we'll see.
Why do you take that gamble?
Because, you know, when you got you had a good point before, right? When you look at, you know, top first round quarterbacks, you know, they don't have the best record, right? But you always trying to take that gamble to be a truly a game changer, right? Someone that can really lead a franchise. Everybody's trying to get the next Tom Brady. And I think if you come across a quarterback that has that potential, you got to go for it, man. And, you know, from what I've read and what people have said about him, you know, he's got that type of potential.
See, what's your thoughts?
So, man, you know, I think that so I'm gonna say this. I watched the WNBA draft, and they did it virtual, and they did a really good job with it. So, if the NFL is having some issues, they need to talk to the WNBA or the NBA.
How long did you stay tuned in?
I did. I watched the whole thing. They watched. I think it was I know they did all the first round, and and what they did was, as it went later into the rounds, they didn't have everybody. They did like 4 or 5 of them at a time. But the first 10, 11, they were in their homes. To bring their nephews home. Her teammate from Oregon, I can't say her name. The girl that's come to Atlanta, they were in their homes, and they had balloons and they spoke to them. So it was more personal, truthfully, to be honest with you, to do it. So if they're struggling, hey, go check out what the WNBA did. But to the draft itself, you know, I think 1 and 2 are locks, right? I'm looking at some mock drafts right now, and, you know, they got, you know, Joe Burrow going to Cincinnati. I mean, what you think of that? You know, what's going to happen up in Cincy if he show up in there? You know, what are they going to do? Who's going to throw the ball to? A.J. Green, right? You know, but will they still have that same concept that they had down there? Chase Young going to Washington, I think that's a knock right there. They need. Then it starts getting crazy. I'm looking at Jeff Okudah to Detroit, and Alabama offensive tackle going to the Giants. Then they got 2 going either Miami or the Chargers. You know, for me, quarterbacks can have all the physical tools in the world, but if they don't win, that's what they come down to, right? Tua's a winner, straight point blank winner. You talk about the pass he threw. The pass it throws that he threw stick out to me was the LSU game when they were down by 14, and he went back on his 7 and launched it. And Smith ran up under to cut that thing to 7. You don't do that. you got to have just that. You got to have that it. And if he's physically able to get it done, I think that he will do. I'm gonna y'all record me. Here it is, right here. He would do if he gets a shot, legitimate shot. He would do just like Drew Brees. Just like Drew Brees.
So he's gonna struggle the first 3 to 5 and then break
and
out.
Then blow up. Right. I don't think no rookie quarterback gonna come in there and be throwing for 4,000 yards. I just don't.
Jameis Winston did.
Right. And you see what he is. He unemployed. You know what I'm saying? He unemployed. But that dude's a winner, man. Like, shoot.
Now, you know what?
To Atlanta. Let's go.
Man, listen. First of all, I'm cool with the draft being virtual. It's still gonna be special to them kids getting drafted in the NFL, and it's gonna be pretty cool. Hopefully they have stuff set up in their homes where we can see what's going on. But it's always pretty cool to watch the draft.
Well, they're supposed to do that.
Now, I hear you, see, and a lot of time we jump on that whole he's a winner. And he won a lot at Alabama. He did. He definitely won a lot at Alabama.
I hear Brett coming on.
But it's the NFL, man. It's the NFL.
And W's get you paid.
W's get you paid. And I think that when I look at the top quarterbacks in the NFL, right? Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Drew Brees.
Peyton Manning gone for how many?
Aaron Rodgers. Who else? Russell
Wilson.
They didn't really come from these powerhouse programs that was winning a whole bunch of games. I think that there's a certain level of maturity that comes with being an NFL quarterback and getting W's in the NFL. And a lot of that, unfortunately, comes down to placement. And I think more and more, if NFL players will start looking more at placement over the money, it can lead to a more successful career. Like if I'm in Tua's camp, I'm really not trying to go as high in the draft as I can go because you don't want to be starting for the Bengals next year. Like, I mean, it's cool. Like Burrow be #1 pick, but if he can go to San Diego, like they got a ready-made team. He could come in the league and go to and make a run, to a Super Bowl. And once you do that, it's you booming from there. But I've seen so many quarterbacks, man, who had promise, who came out of college, winners, hyped up. They go to an NFL team who is terrible. They win like 6 games in 3 years. They get shell-shocked, and you never hear from them again. And it's not like these quarterbacks are sorry.
Name one.
Kerry Collins. Kerry Collins, who had a solid career. Boom. Jamarcus Russell. Boom. I mean, all of these, you just don't hear from them again. They play for these bad teams. The coaching situation's all messed up. You win 6 games, the crowd is against you now.
That's how it is for them black coaches that finally get a nod through the rolling rule.
Yeah. But you look at players like Brady, Brees, Russell Wilson. Like they all got either they were eased into place, like, okay, here, the starting quarterback is now phasing out. We're gonna move you right in. Aaron Rodgers is gonna move you right in. Somebody gets hurt. Tom Brady, we move you right in. Drew Brees, move you right in. They have a better shelf life.
But that's what I'm saying. I agree with you. I don't think they need to come in and start. Like, all those guys right there, they didn't walk in the NFL. They didn't start. They got an opportunity to hang out. And I tell people, Brett Favre was drafted by the Falcons. Stood on the sideline.
And I say that to say that we got to be careful with Tua because he was so successful in college, just thinking that he's just gonna plug and play in the league. He's already got to deal with the learning curve of the NFL, and he is coming off of an injury. That's a whole separate learning curve. Yeah. So if you go in there expecting him, to be the same Tua from Alabama, good luck. It's the league, bro. It is the league. These boys good. Them boys good.
That man says the league, PB.
Now, I mean, look, I'm not saying Tua should start either. I
don't think he should either. I don't think that either.
My point. But I do think from a franchise standpoint, he's worth the risk of bringing him in and, It may not be next year. I don't think it should be next year, but the following or the one after that, you know what I mean? You start working him in, and I think he's a potential franchise quarterback.
That's the problem with the NFL now, man. Like, it's almost like if you get drafted in the first 8 picks, like, you got to start. And it's like, come on, man. Like,
your boy in Washington, then what's the kid came out of Ohio State?
Yeah, Haskins.
Cardell? No, Haskins. Yeah, Haskins.
Yeah,
he did.
I know, but Haskins wasn't as highly touted as Tua. Like, just like you said, like he's a winner. Like, he won everything. Like, he's, you know, people are saying he's really kind of better than Burrow. You know what I mean? Like, the expectation is going to be like, you got to come in and do something to change the organization, unless you find a team that's ready-made and you can have that Tom Brady effect or that Russell Wilson effect to kind of ease him into play. You know, he messed around and go to somebody like the Bengals. Go ahead.
No, I was listening. I was going to bring up another quarterback name. I was reading this article. Go ahead and finish your thought. No,
I'm just saying, if he's not in that system, and you're talking about risk and reward, you risk him being shell-shocked for the next couple of years, trying to get his bearings together in the NFL.
I agree with you. I don't think he needs to start. You know, they got another quarterback they talking about that is actually NFL ready. That's that kid out of Oregon, Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
You know, he's supposed to be more NFL ready. He's more of a pocket passer. I've never thought that a kid coming right out of college should start in the NFL that following year. There are too many catastrophes with that, man.
You're right. You're right when you said what you said, brother. Because if you go back to the last 3 years and you look at some of the top 10 quarterbacks, Trubisky, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, and you see them now, like, boy, stop.
It's a learning curve, man. Patrick Mahomes.
Even Eli. Remember, Eli said, I don't want to be the number one pick because I don't want to go to that team. Remember that? Remember that whole Eli Manning catastrophe, man? He's like, no.
Carson Wentz is probably the best one so far, except then he got hurt.
True. But he went into a system where, like, Philly was good.
Yeah.
You know,
he had to carry the team.
Like, if you plug and play into a system that's already there and they can just surround you, like, you know, hey, here, come in this system, turn around, hand the ball off. All right, come in here.
All the other ones, man. I mean, you got Mariota, you got Jameis Winston. Yeah, I mean, Carson Wentz is the best in the last 6 years that's still somewhat relevant and probably would be even more relevant had he not gotten hurt.
True.
And you say somewhat relevant, right? They went to the Super Bowl.
Not either first year.
Right. They went to the Super Bowl. He wasn't any quarterback.
Yeah, because he got hurt. I mean, he did get him there, though. Like, don't sleep on that, on his season that year.
Well, he did. But your boy got paid.
He did, and now look at where he at.
Hey, he working for he ain't working there, is he?
Nah, he looking for. I think he's looking for a job now.
Looking for a job. Shout out to all the quarterbacks who's looking for a job. Hey, so we spent a lot of time on it.
Go all the way back to 14, Blake Bortles. God, dog.
Yeah.
Again, top 10 quarterbacks, man, ain't the lick, bro.
We talking about quarterbacks, so let's do this. Like Paul, you said something I want to talk about. You said, you know, it kind of gets it doesn't keep your interest unless you have some personal connection. I get excited. Alumni, former Letterman, Georgia players who get picked. Like they talking, I want to see where Jake Fromm end up. That's why I'm gonna stay on. I'm gonna stay connected. Mm-hmm. You know, I want to see if J.R. Reed gets selected. You know, I want to see if Tay Crowder, you know, or, you know, everybody talking about Andrew Thomas and DeAndre Swift, but there's some cats that play in Georgia that have a legitimate shot. They won't be in the first, some even second and third round. So there is a personal allegiance to some of those kids,
right?
Because I do want to see if they then, you know, see other guys that, you know, I always like to see who's Mr. Irrelevant, who the last one, right?
Yeah, see, I just wait for the ESPN to come on and watch. see who Mr. Irrelevant is.
Yeah, it's just, So I was thinking, so we talked about quarterbacks. So name some running backs who you want, what you wonder where they gonna go. Name some offensive tackles, some DTs. Here in Atlanta, they talking about getting that cat from you hearing it's a lot of speculation. The one that I get excited about is that dude Javon Kinlaw from South Carolina, that defensive tackle. If we get that dude in Atlanta and put him down there with Grady,
yeah,
let's go. Bring anybody
what's
to
the dude we got from the Rams?
yeah.
Oh yeah,
with Fowler.
Yeah, on the other side.
Yeah.
You have Fowler, Tat,
Kinlaw,
and then hopefully Kinlaw, whoever they decide to get at that position. On the home front, the Falcons got a couple of holes they need to plug: D-line, linebacker, corner. So it'll be interesting to see if we move. It's Brisson talking about us trying to move up to get the kid Simmons from Clemson, who's probably, if not the best linebacker, one of the best linebackers in college. Price may be kind of steep, but if Falcons got holes to plug on that defensive end, that defensive side of the ball, especially with how tough the division is now. So that'll be interesting to see. There are a lot of moves that I will look at. I'm like you, Paul. I kind of look at the first, second round maybe, and I'll just kind of pop back in from that point on, unless I know of someone that may be getting drafted or something like that. I'll scan like every 7 or 8 picks and see what's going on in the draft. But I'm still excited for it, man. It's something that with everything being canceled because of coronavirus, like it's good to have something. You know what I mean? And having this draft, it's like, okay, this is like normal. Every year around this time, we have the draft. Cool. It's something to watch. You know what I mean? So I'm excited for that. So we're going to take a break real quick. Come back. It's the ATL Outlet.
Enjoying the show? Join us online at plugusin20.com, plugusin20@gmail.com, or at plugusin20 on all social media outlets. Now back to the show.
Therapy for your soul. Had a good episode to this point. We'll come to a part of the program that one of our favorites. It's called Yes Sir, No Sir.
Yes, sir.
We'll bring yes sir, no sir. Yes, sir.
No, sir.
I bring up a topic. Guys will affirm. We'll say yes in the affirmative or no if otherwise. First topic on the yes sir, no sir. We're gonna go right to the Last Dance. To the Last Dance. Scottie Pippen. Is he the best Robin in history, regardless of sport? Yes, sir, no, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
When
sir.
the GOAT says, I don't get any of these without him, let you know his value. Let's go.
I'm going to say no, sir.
Of course.
Of course.
I'm going to say no, sir.
Name the other one then.
Look, this might be unfair, but I don't care. I would say no, sir, because at one point in time, Shaq was a Robin, and so was Kobe a Robin at one time. I think both of those are better than Scottie Pippen. So I'm going to go no, sir, on that. Not the best Robin in history.
PB, sometimes I think you just say no, sir.
Y'all got a thing y'all want to say? Y'all got a thing you want to say?
That's exactly what he does. On to the next one.
What do I do?
Nothing.
You just say it. You just go opposite, just so you can have the alternative alter ego on the.
So does that not make sense? Does that not make sense?
No, speak your truth, man. Don't be trying to be alternate. If all three of us yes sir, then it's cool. If it's not, then it's not. But don't be just. I want to be different.
All right. Yes sir, no sir. Second question. Grits over oatmeal. Yes sir, no sir. Beezy.
Yes, sir. And my mom Dukes grew up in Ohio, so we throw sugar on our grits, bro, all day. No oatmeal.
See,
Grits all day. I think it's a yes, sir. And we grew up in Atlanta. I still put grits on mine. So,
You put grits on your grits?
Sugar on my grits. Yeah. Grits on my grits plus the sugar. All of it. So, yes, sir, to the grits.
Hey, T.
No, sir. And I'm not even trying to just go.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Just different. We're gonna get you
I don't think I ever see you eat oatmeal, bro.
Listen, first of all, anytime I'm sick, anybody knows I'm going to eat oatmeal. Anytime I have an important engagement where I have to be locked in, interview, anything like that, I'm going to eat oatmeal. My mom used to always tell me before standardized tests, the breakfast was oatmeal. It was brain food.
So throughout the year, would you say you eat more oatmeal or more grits?
I would say I prepare oatmeal more.
I didn't ask you what you prepare. I asked you what do you eat more of throughout the year?
I eat more grits because I don't like how other people prepare oatmeal necessarily. I like to make my own oatmeal.
And see, I don't know this dude. My whole life might as well be. I don't think I ever seen this dude eat oatmeal, bro.
Because y'all might not catch us on YouTube, I want you to know I'm throwing my shoulders up. You just won't be different.
I eat oatmeal.
You know what I'm saying?
What's wrong with eating oatmeal? I eat oatmeal.
It's okay to be different.
Nobody said. I'm just saying, bro. Like I never see you eat oatmeal. Bro.
I don't like rolled oatmeal. I like home oatmeal. Home oatmeal is better than any grits, home or away.
Got it.
So you saying yes or no, sir?
I'm saying no, sir. I'm going with oatmeal.
Different. Keep going.
All right, next one. Yes, sir. No, sir. Had a big issue with the Teddy Riley versus Babyface contest or challenge on Instagram recently. Terrible connection. It was an uproar. As a matter of fact, the rematch is going on right now. Okay. No connection issues. Everything is clear. Babyface over Teddy Riley. Yes, sir. No, sir. I'm going to go first and shock the world and say no, sir.
Of course.
New Jack Swing. Teddy Riley got some hits.
Of course.
And see, I don't know about you. I got a feeling what you're going to do, but I'm going yes, sir, Babyface over Teddy Riley. Just got way more, man. Even if you got a chance to hear the first few songs that did come out when the battle was going on the other day, bruh. Teddy Riley, again, no disrespect. Mad hits, great musician, all of that, great producer, writer, all the above. But, bruh, Babyface just got a collection, man, that he just can't touch. I'm sorry. You just can't touch it. See.
So, this is a yes, sir. Yay. I mean, right.
Wait,
I just wish y'all could see me right now.
The response that he has more, it doesn't sway me.
More hits, hits. Like top 10, top 5.
Line them up and show me.
Come on, man.
Oh,
line them up. Okay, hold on.
Say less.
Hits
line
by Babyface. Look, he ain't even gonna be singing them. He gonna be producing them.
Line them up and show me that he has way more hits. Now, if you're a Babyface fan and you like the songs, okay. But we talking about like
that's not what I'm saying, bro.
On the charts hits.
Right.
Okay. That's fine. It's a yes or no, sir. That's why we do this.
I'll have them ready for you next.
I'm got him right here. Whip appeal. Every time I close my eyes, he don't even sing me. Never keep it secret. When can I see you? It's no crime. There's love. I go over here to doggone Teddy Riley and say, let's chill. I like piece of my love. My fantasy is good to you. Goodbye, love.
What's the count though? See,
I mean, he's just naming stuff. I don't know what's going on. What
you know what I'm saying?
Is this Billboard? What is this?
These are hits. Yeah. Oh my God, this ain't even close. Okay, you right. We're gonna go with you, AT. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna go with you. Yep. You're right.
Hey man, listen. I seriously, I do not go against you all just to go against you all.
You do.
I had some real thoughts
You
about it.
actually do. Because, like, seriously, there's no way Teddy Riley's going to be baby.
For real. Listeners, please comment. Go back and listen to all of the other episodes and see how many times that AT has gone against me and PB. Please count them up. We need numbers. Check us out. Hit us up on Twitter, Facebook, whatever, YouTube. Email us. Count them up for us, so we can get a real data-driven account.
Man, last yes sir, no sir. On Friday, Governor Kemp plans to open up a portion of the economy. Yes or no, sir? You're going to hit them streets on Friday. Yes or no, sir? BZ.
Man, no, sir. I told y'all this a few weeks ago when y'all was on that bandwagon talking about what y'all was going to do. Bruh, I'm not going to no restaurant. I'm not going to no movies. Hey, for anything, I'm going to give me some more food so I can cook at home and stay away from these folks. Bruh, Georgia is the 7th lowest in testing. Until we get some more tested, and I know folks around here have been tested before they go out. Hey, man, I'm trying to keep it in, bro. Trying to keep it in. It ain't worth it.
Well, I'm gonna change my script. I done been in the house too long. No, sir, I'm not going anywhere. I'm gonna let y'all figure it out. Jacksonville Beach opened up last Friday. They said 102 new cases already been reported. I'm staying in the crib.
Man.
Go ahead and say yes, sir. Go ahead and then call us.
Let me ask you a question. Does going to get my haircut count?
Yes, bro.
Oh, then I got to say no, sir, because I'm going to get my haircut. That's a 5. I'm going to get my haircut. So I disagree with you guys on all facets today. All good. We still love each other, man. It's all good. We appreciate you tuning in to another episode of the ATL Outlet, man. We'll be back real soon. Fellas, y'all got anything before we leave?
Man, it's just good to be back, man. That's all.
Hey, stay safe. Don't jump out here too fast, bro. If you do, wear your mask and your gloves.
And change your clothes.
Holla.
Later.
From sports to current events to the culture, we talk, agree, disagree, and agree again. Maybe. Confused? Find your outlet, the podcast.